edition. Week 3. This week we're going to be focusing on Kopesh and shield work. We're probably going to get into a little bit of Kopesh and hinge as well. So just bear with us for a couple moments. I'm sorry we're late. We had a few technical difficulties. Worked through those. So we're here. Now, just to start some things off, there's a lot of things about the Kopesh that people may not understand or may not pick up on right away. The first is that Kopeshes are small. This is about the actual size of an Egyptian Kopesh. Alright? This is usually about the size that people think they are, like right off the top of their head. Okay? So, comparatively, the traditional Kopeshes are very small. So, that's the first thing that you gotta see and kind of work with. The next, the shield that I have, the shield that I made, yeah, it's kind of small, but it should get the point across with things to do and everything else. So that's just to get that out of the way. So again, I'm gonna do a shortened warm up just to get into everything, get everything going, and then we'll go from there. We're gonna start off with shoulder rotations, 10 forward, 10 reverse. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. From there, we're just gonna do stretch arm across. And hold it for a 10 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna switch arms. All right. Pull it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Face up, arm behind your back. Down 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, and other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright. So now, just gonna bend forward in the waist, kind of touch your toes. Remember, during these stretches, it's important not to bounce. You're kind of lowering yourself in, feeling the tension, and if you can go down a little bit further after that, you go down a little bit forward. But you don't want to have that bouncing motion. Alright? Count 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now during that stretch, you might want to bend your legs a little bit. Bending a little bit is okay, but you still, as long as you feel that stretch in the back of your legs, it's a good stretch. But try to hold your legs as straight as possible. All right. Now, the first thing I want to get into before we pick up the shield is the Kopesh. Now, a lot of people will go, okay, so the way it's shaped here and here are good hooking points. Yes, they are. However, from usage and watching it being used, these are not going to be your primary uses. They're for opportunity attacks or, you know, position attacks and things like that. They're not something that you're going to go for right off the bat. It's not what you're going to rely on. What you're going to rely on is your technique, and how you build on that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few things that are going to kind of let you see what I'm saying. Because now, when you start off with Naguni, that wrap shot to the back of the head, right? Remember, it was section A, shot 3, or shot 2, because it's going to be up for that wrap. Now with a Khopesh, as you can tell, I'm going to throw it flat so that you can see. It's going to come out, and you got that, right into the back. But you don't want that first. You're still going to stick with the basics of that shot there for your A's. The way I do this breaks down again, same kind of quadrants of high, mid, or not quadrants, but same time of attack areas, high, mid, and low. But what we do here is your angles are different at your beginning level. So instead of throwing in those wrap shots and things like that, because those are going to be more advanced, we're going to start with just your A quadrant being here, or not quadrant, but your A area being here for your attacks. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now the sweet spot on a Khopesh is usually from here to here. So that's where you want that kind of, that belly, about halfway through that belly into where it starts to bend back. That's going to be your sweet spot. So imagine that you're going to have to be further in, closer to throw those shots. Okay? So again, on your A's. 1, 2, 3. Your B's. 1, 2, 3. So, in case you can't see that very well through the camera, it comes to like an arrowhead. You have your 1 coming down at an angle towards the neck. 1. You have your 2, which is more straight and horizontal. 2. It's going to come there. And then your 3rd is going to be a rising cut. Okay? So 1, 2, 3 on each of your quadrants. Or no, I'll stick with quadrants for right now, because we're not going to really want to strike low. So we're going to eliminate the low portion for now. So quadrants is going to be correct. I'm sorry about that confusion. I'm still, it's been an odd morning. So we're going to do A's again. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. With Kopesh work, for me, it's a lot more intricate in the wrist, and it's a lot more work in the wrist. Now, with Damone using Matrag as one of his bases with it, it's a little bit different. It's a little different from him and how he does it. So both ways are perfectly fine. Don't get it twisted. We support each other. But I want to make sure that as far as things go with me, you kind of understand the diagonals. Now, when we get to a point where we're making full strikes, you'll see a little bit more how that goes. Because when your A quadrant for this, follow through. A. And then your B's. Okay. So again, it's your A quadrants from the crown of the head to the shoulder. Most of your strikes are aiming at about ear level. Okay. The mids, I'm gonna go from what we usually wear our pants at and call a waist to about, I want to say, just at that rib line here. It can depending on situations, it can go from your waist to about nipple level, but again, it's kind of situational. And like I said, I don't really like throwing lower attacks because it ends up hacking more. Okay, so you're gonna hack, and it's a little bit difficult to throw that third shot on that lower side, on your third shot at that lower section. So that's why I just don't deal with it with beginners. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up shield, and we're going to go over it and kind of show you how it looks that way. Again, mind you, yes, I know the shield is kind of small. It needs to be about another, I want to say 5 to 6 inches wide and probably about 3 inches longer. But hey, bodyboard you can find at any like dollar store or like Five Below or any place like that. Some duct tape and a cleaning handle. So very simple to make, very easy. So we're going to throw that first 3 shot in our A zone, okay? So in doing that shield, now mind you, with Egyptians they were against center punch shields. You're going to get that out about the forearm length from your body, okay? And it's going to cover that hand motion a lot. So it's one, then it comes out with the hand. And so that way, again, you're still striking with the fat belly of that blade of the Kopesh, but the hand is still behind the shield. Boom. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Now I use the shield as my guiding point up on that third shot, because it will come up if I hit the shield, it just comes up. And it doesn't necessarily stop the momentum because I'm not doing that. I am doing it so that it glances off and comes up. That also changes the way the shot comes in and the timing on the shot. Okay? Again, this is all my personal interpretation, so take it with a grain of salt. If somebody's teaching something else, it may be good and it may work. I do a lot of time field testing and things like that. We'll get more videos of that once the COVID thing is over and we can actually get more people out to fight. All right. So again, we're going to do that top three. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. From there, we're going to do the mid 3. So it is 1, 2, 3. Now with this, I will typically use the shield to kind of stop my hand from coming up too far and out of line with the person I'm fighting. So it kind of stops it. Now, that's not always a good thing. I teach it for beginning because it keeps you from getting your hand out too far in front of that shield. And it doesn't bring your shield out of your protective area, protecting your body. Okay? Later, with the way and style I teach, it's going, when you get into that rising cut, it's going to be coming a lot more from your shoulder and body with footwork. So it's going to come up and your shield's going to turn some. And you get to push that shield along when you throw. The reason being, if they're going to attack my left side while I'm throwing this shot, I can flatten out and kind of table it to where it blocks me completely on that while still getting my shot in and through. You don't want to do that, because if you do that, the habit is to, when you go that far out of your way, somebody that is fighting against you will see that arm come from behind the shield and be able to snipe at it, especially at this kind of close range, because they can throw their shoulder into your shield a little bit more to get some more of that turn on a lead. So they're going to throw, instead of doing here, they're going to step further with their lead foot, lean in, hit your shield with their shoulder, and then snipe out that way. Okay? Now, again, back to the third set, or the second set of 3, which is going to be your B quadrant. 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, with this, I know I didn't show you a lot of attacks off the left side, but that's where this is going to come in. We're going to work on that right now. Now, it's going to be same targets. We're just going to reverse the locations. So instead of being this way, it's going to come from this side. So you're going to throw, and you're going to come around the head. And again, this is a great thing about the Kopesh, because this It's natural. You get that into that belly, boom. That's your 1. Boom. That's your 2. That's your 3. Sorry. Now, with the 3, you come out from your shield a little bit. That's the reason why I don't suggest for beginners learning that 3 is something you use very often. I know when you can kind of get in throwing 3s. 1, 2. Okay, so we can do 1, 2, 3s. It's really kind of difficult. It's really kind of difficult at times, and I prefer beginners not do it. I show it to you because it's part of the form. Not that I think you should do it right away. Get some battlefield experience, and you can start doing those things. I always am a big proponent of sparring and testing things out, because you could get out there, you could follow what I'm showing you. You get out there and spar and find out that that shot just doesn't work for you, or that you can't land that mid A shot at all, and you have to tweak it a little bit in order for you to land it. Or for certain people with disabilities and modifying things to where you can do them, that's perfectly fine. But the only way you're going to do it well is to get out there and get that experience, get some sparring in. Alright? So, again, we're going to go into that B shot, the set of shots on the B side, coming from your left. Okay? So, with these, you're going to have to step in and turn that shield to the opponent's weapon. Okay? Because it's not going to, how we did the A-line shots. We can't do the B-line shots like that, because it's going to constantly tip that shield away. And that's not what you want. So when you go for those B-line shots, you've got to step well with that lead foot, boom, and put that shield there. So it's going to come there, and notice you can't see from the angle that I was, but I'm going to try to show it to you from this angle. Because what you want is that shield. When you turn that shield, it's still going to protect that hand. Okay? So it looks like there, there. And again, I'm not stepping fully, but I'm just trying to show you how that shield covers it almost automatically. And again, for beginners, I don't suggest throwing those low shots, because you can, with that, you're easily out. You can easily get out of position when you want to get there. Boom, and my hand is now out from behind my shield. There are ways with bending the knees and things like that to do it, but again, for me, I consider those more advanced techniques and things to work up to. Not that you can't do them as a beginner, but my goal is always get you into it gradually and easily for your body. Okay? Now, I'm going to put this down a little bit. So, we're going to get on kind of the way Kopesh's move. Okay? Because the belly is going to be where a lot of that weight is, it doesn't move like a regular sword. Okay? So you have a lot of things that's going to cast off. It's almost It is, to me, a great hybrid of a sword and an axe. Because you have that percussive point there to throw with and to hit with. But you also have the maneuverability of a sword. Okay, so you can hit with your percussive edges. Boom, 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 boom. But you have that nimbleness of a sword with the cutting power of an axe. Alright? And so when you throw, you kind of have to keep that in mind. Okay? Before I get into quadrants, usually on warm-ups, what I will have people do is just practice this. Okay? And just let you get a feel of it, how it moves. How it moves. And that, things like weight and things like that change it. I'll grab the bigger Kopesh, you can kind of see what small changes mechanically that are made. Because it's heavier, my body wants to come forward more with it when I throw. Okay? It wants to lead in, to take some of that weight. And your recoils are a bit different. Believe it or not, I can throw harder with this than I do with this. Because my body wants to restrain this more because of the weight. But again, do what's comfortable for you. That's my heavy. That's my heavy when I want to go out and I want to work, but I want to get more of a workout with heavier weight. This because of the more historical style and function of it. When I want to practice form, this is what I would use. Okay, again, Street Forge Armory makes what I consider the best. The Purple Heart one that I have, but it doesn't feel like it wants to move as much. Like it wants to go with everything that I throw. I have a review coming up that's gonna all the different training Kopeshes that I have. I'm gonna be doing a review. That should be coming up. And I've had it in the works for a while. I just haven't been able to sit down and shoot. But it should be coming up within the next month with timing and things like that. But again, so we're going to go over an X pattern and then break it down into our quadrants again, and then I will show you, start getting into showing you some of the lower stuff with and without shield. Now, Kopeshes were primarily used with shields. That's the reason why I don't focus on just using it alone. But it, like anything else, can be used on its own. It's just optimized with the shield. So, the exercise that we're doing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do that again slowly. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, when we do this, it's to keep in mind how your angles are. Is that first pattern? Right?
Project. Your voice. You're getting quiet.
No. The reason why I'm showing it like that is we're to keep that first pattern, the larger pattern. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Because basically, if you look at how I am showing you the different sections, this pattern, you cut it in half and you apply it to that section. The reason why this is because it'll teach you how to go through with your follow through. The reason why it's showing you this way is to get you used to the impact zones and how you're going to throw. In essence, what should be happening in every section is, say, for your highs, for your A section. 1, 2, 3. That's what it's going to look like when you spar it. 1, 2. Now, in that, as you can tell, when I did my pattern, it was overhand, overhand, underhand, underhand. The reason why it's somewhat abbreviated when I do it here is, again, I want you to get and understand where your target is. If you get to the point where, boom, you can do your light taps, boom, boom. You get to that portion where you can do light taps like that. That'll help you get the control. Once you follow through, boom, boom, boom. And that helps you with knowing where your sword's going to end up. Now, the reason why it's not go all the way up is that's a whole lot of extra torque on your wrist, your shoulder, and elbow coming up. You can do that, but again, without that step and that alignment, it's a whole lot of torque up here. And I'm trying to eliminate that as we first start out. That's why it's boom, boom, boom. Translates to boom, 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 or boom, boom, boom. Okay. Worry a lot more about how you get there to start than your follow through. Because if you can start getting there, getting to the target, when you add your follow through, boom, and say you get blocked when you throw, it's going to stop about there. You need to know what that feels like, so when you boom come off that block and you pull back, you know where that's going. And the first part of that is having that stop. And so that's kind of where my mind is as I'm teaching. It's evolution, getting there in evolution. And what we're doing, and as we're digging through historical documents to look at these styles and try to decipher, we get a lot of stills. Like with Egyptian hieroglyphs, you get a lot of stills. Boom. So you get the shot that's there. Well, what happens from there? You know, what's the next motion? What's the next move? From there, for me, because I'm more experienced with Naguni, my mind rationally tries to fill that in to there to back for the next shot. And that's a big thing. You'll see a lot of people translate, and it's kind of the frog DNA type thing, to where they fill in little gaps, and they fill in gaps with styles that they know. It's difficult because you cannot say beyond a shadow of a doubt that's 100%. But understand what we're doing is we're trying to be as accurate as possible. We're more looking at the functionality. So, or we're looking to be historically accurate as we can, and the functionality. We have to kind of split in different styles to look at what works and what doesn't work. We're trying to do that primarily with African styles and staying in the scope of African styles, because if we go, say, into European, kind of trying to splice in European styles, it doesn't quite capture the understanding of the era, because where we can look at the hieroglyphs, use El Matrak to fill in some of the DNA, that's going to be closer than, say, going to the Philippines and filling it in with the screen. See, that's kind of the way that works. So with this, again, because I'm more experienced with Naguni stick fighting, that's kind of where I feed back up. That's the reason why I started with Naguni, to go establish that into Iquan Shield. Now coming back with Shield and Kopesh. It's kind of that wild evolution for me, and that's how I instruct it. Now we're going to pick up the Shield. And now I'm going to kind of get into some of the more advanced stuff, so you can see a lot of where we end up. Okay? And from here, I'm going to show you that wrap shot. How I showed you earlier. How it comes out and around there. It's got a hook. Boom. Boom. Now you can, with this, I can actually say, as long as you're throwing that wrap on from your right side, it's actually okay to do it low. The reason why is when you're doing it low, boom, as you throw it, you're stepping forward into their body. So it's boom. And it's better, and it covers you more to do it that way versus just throwing it out there. Because it's kind of where you're doing the wrap, boom, and also coming back into your center versus that. So throwing it out there, you're going to come out behind that shield too much for my comfort. With that, you're throwing still behind your shield or parallel with your shield to come back into your center. Okay? There, on your lows. Okay? with the shield, you can do things like how we have the A, B, and C section. Okay? You can do the wrap shot off of any of those sections as long as you have the shield there. Because you can do a wrap coming up. So what's going to happen is, boom, as you come up, you come back, and you're going to step. So, boom. It's going to grab, and you're going to step. You got a little bit further back. Boom. Boom. Shield's going to come up and intercept. Boom. The reason being on that, especially on your highs, is to push that shield forward. A lot of that for me and from what I teach is when you throw that wrap shot, it's going to come behind the neck. If it doesn't dig in, that's fine. You want to put pressure there because you can control the person, you control the neck. Okay? And I can get behind it, boom. If I get them to come forward just a little bit, as I'm pushing that shield, again at an angle, so I'm not coming straight forward, I'm coming out and out. And you can pop them in the face with that. Pop. It's going to hit from here to here, so you either catch them with a little bit or a lot. It's not something that's going to end a fight, but it will lead to the end of a fight. Because if you get them, boom, pop them with that shield, and they stagger back, they're going to create the openings that you can go in. And again, you can do there, there, there. Now this one is primarily, this is all it is. It's not even a wrap or a feint. It's just straight up into like the arm. Well, we're going above the shoulder. And our A's is going to come up, glancing the shoulder or glancing the shield to come in. Okay. Now versus shield versus shield. All these are going to do. So your A-line shot. It's going to come in and around. This is going to pull against the shield. Those, again, I throw as shots of opportunity, not opening shots. Opening shots are going to be more straightforward, more just gauging. What time are we looking at?
1.
Huh?
1.
1? So I'm going to get into a little bit of Kopesh and spear. Or hinge it, sorry. This is my heavy workout gear. As I stated before, it's a little bit heavier. And the way I have this marked is courtesy padded. The white section is where my hand's going to be most of the time. But one of the things is we're going to treat this again kind of like your shield. Okay? So the difference is when you throw on your A's, right? You keep that tip pointed underneath their chin. And if you've got to couch it, you can couch it. Anything that they throw, they're throwing towards that side or towards your left. And it's literally, you're not going to push out and block. You're going to thrust in. And that's where we're going to leave off this week. Like I said, a lot of technical difficulties to start. Sorry we got a little bit of late to start, but I wanted to give you a lead in for next week, so that way we can get started next week a whole lot more grounded, centered, and focused. Thank you. Have a nice week.
The Historical African Martial Arts Association's Hero Series celebrates the great military leaders of Africa's past. Order yours today at teespring.com.